He'll drain that old swamp, just like he said. He'll make America.
Hey, 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. It's Friday. Yeah, you made Friday, day after Christmas. You're still hungover from all the happy times. I understand. We get it. Some of you have to go to work today. I chose to. A little bit of news. Phone lines are open 928-344-5258. I heard about the story the other day, and I was interested, but I didn't read it. But I looked at it this morning. It's about a bus driver. We see him in here all the time. A bus driver for children, for schools, a school bus driver. It's an important job. I imagine it comes with some strain and some, because you're in charge of that ship with all those kids on board. Responsible for their behavior, and that's up in the air what to expect. I don't know. Never done it. Never been a school bus driver, but I have great respect for those that delve into that. It's a Pennsylvania woman. She drove that bus for 3 decades. Hanita County School District. And she was a private contractor, which I didn't know anybody ever did that. She, I guess she paid $30,000 for, I guess, the bus and the route or whatever. And so she was kind of an independent a little bit. Well, like any bus driver, I'm sure, because kids are always pushing the envelope on what's acceptable, not acceptable. That's just part of growing up, I guess, is butting up against that. There was some harassment going on the bus of kids to other kids, kind of normal, but it needs to be corrected. It needs to be curtailed, and try to protect that and all that. So what she found was that the Spanish-speaking children could get away with it because she didn't understand Spanish, and they were harassing some kids, calling them fat or something. She says, I thought I heard them say gordo, and I understand some of the words. I don't know who he was talking to, but I assume he was directing at me. Gordo in Spanish means fat. Well, that it started to become, something she couldn't control. She didn't understand Spanish, whatever. It was being used. It was being used to stealthily causes some disruption. So she's 66 years old. She's been doing it for 30 years, and she put up a sign that said, "Out of respect to English only students, there will be no speaking Spanish on the bus." That's what it said. Now she lost her job for that. Racially insensitive. I mean, Spanish isn't a race, by the way. But, racially insensitive. It's more of a culture. The people speak Spanish in their homes, and that's fine. They can do that. In fact, I think bilingual is excellent. If people are bilingual, have a real leg up and advantage. But now she like that. She purchased the bus and the route in 2024. She'd been driving 30 years, but she worked for the school, and at some point she purchased her own route. Now she's on Snap. Remember we had 42 million people on Snap. She can't afford it. She said, I don't know what else to do. I'm on Medicare and Medicaid now and Snap. I had to go on antidepressants because of it. Well, she sued them. She filed a lawsuit for $30,000. And that's totally different too, because look, Donald Trump will file lawsuits for billions. I guess school bus driver, they get this, they do a $30,000 lawsuit. I would expect, it would make sense for the school district to give her the $30,000 and take it versus spending more than that on lawyers. But I have no idea what they're going to do. She said she filed the lawsuit asking for $30,000 for the bus and the route I would like them to admit that they were wrong. I don't want to be in debt because of what they did was wrong. Well, now it's gone to the U.S. Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, Harmon Dillon, and she said her office was investigating the incident. This is deeply concerning. I have directed the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ to open an investigation into the situation implicating DEI wokeness. Well, that's probably going to cost them more than $30,000 to defend that. Now let's get the federal government looking into that, into DEI type policies that may have pushed for this. Following the incident in question, the district and Russ jointly reviewed the situation in accordance with the established procedures. The investigation concluded that the subcontractor provided a written admission confirming that the signage had been installed on her bus, which she doesn't deny. At that point, the relevant facts of the situation were fully known and discussed among district and leadership. They said they determined Crawford had violated the standards and expectations for drivers. That's a pretty broad thing, I guess, standards and expectations, and expressed a commitment to providing a safe and inclusive transportation environment, and that's what she broke. That's the policy, a safe and inclusive transportation environment. I think that's what the sign was all about, was to make it safe and inclusive, especially for the English only students who are at a terrible disadvantage on that bus. We'll see where it goes. I have no idea. This has been in Pennsylvania, because she put up a sign that said, "Out of respect to English only students, there'll be no speaking of Spanish on the bus." And I don't know that I agree or disagree with the sign, but I don't think it results in the cancellation of a contract, and that she took away that safe and inclusive transportation environment. But we live in different times, I guess. There's some protected classes out there, I would think. The Crockett's continuing to be in the news. Yeah. Crockett is accusing the Trump administration of dishonesty. Well, and I guess that's a little softer than Hitler, calling him Hitler and stuff, and liars and dishonesty over border encounter numbers, which is really an odd place for her to go. But I guess she was asked the question. She was on Meet the Press Now, NBC News, with Gabe Gutierrez, and he asked Crockett about the immigration, and I would assume from the way the question is that he's looking for an acknowledgement that Trump is doing a decent job on the border, that things are looking up. So Gabe asked, he says, one of the key issues in Texas is, of course, immigration. You, of course, have been an outspoken critic of the president's mass deportation policy and of ICE. But a lot of voters, a lot of Americans who voted for President Trump think that he has done a strong job at the border. In fact, border encounter numbers are down, and the president is touting that as a success. You obviously have issues with the way he's going about it, but the president, been successful. Can you acknowledge that on bringing border encounters down? Well, that kind of pins her down. I think the border numbers kind of speak for themselves. And those are, I guess, they would be kind of hard to fake. We see it every day, just like we saw when the Biden was in office, just a mass people of entering the country. Of course, he tried to cover it up by sending airplanes so that they landed at airports. He sent hundreds and hundreds of airplanes to bring people in. Crockett responded, though. I will acknowledge that what is being reported is that the border encounters are lower. That's a pretty strong acknowledgement. What's being reported? I will also say that we know that this administration has not been the most honest when it comes to reporting numbers. As we know, there's now reporting that they have not been honest about the job numbers. I don't know where that comes from, but I'll take a look at that. What I can tell you is that he has invoked a very inhumane way of carrying out immigration, What I can tell you is that he has not worked through Congress, and what we need is comprehensive immigration reform. What I can also tell you is that we have a historic number of people that have died in ICE custody since he's been in. What I can tell you is that we have a historic number of American citizens who have been rounded up. And what I can also tell you is that the Supreme Court, unfortunately, has basically given him carte blanche to go after people because of an accent. Obviously, just so much ridiculousness in that statement. We'll get to it, but let me take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Russ. How we doing?
We're doing well, Mr. Carl.
Yeah, talking about the border, I guess my 2 cents will be this. Can Mr. Russ Clark, can he go across the border without showing him a piece of paper?
Oh, I probably could, but I would be in big trouble, man. I mean,
No,
it would be a fine.
No, when you go across the border,
Oh, you mean at the port of
Yeah.
entry? The port of entry, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Port of entry, you have to, yeah.
So now, if you come across the Morales Dam, how much is it going to cost you to come back in the United States? It's going to be about $5,000.
That's what I understand. I've read that it's a $5,000 fine for a citizen to do that. Yeah.
So
Now, non-citizen,
guess-
they give you 5,000 or used to, not
Yeah.
anymore. They used to.
So now, what I would like one of our good Democrats to come on your show and explain to me, this dumbass Mega Man, why it cost me $5,000 to come across the border, and you're going to give the man illegally $5,000 to come across the border.
I think that would be a fair question.
Well, it is a fair question.
Yeah. Of course, they would dodge it and be outraged about how you are inhumane or something. I'm sure.
So can you remember how many lives we saved when we blew up a terrorist boat come across going to Venezuela with?
Trump is labeled as a $25,000, per person life, and that's an arbitrary number. The point being that lives are saved. Don't know that you can actually put a whole number on it, but we know the numbers of overdoses is in excess of 100,000 people a year, and although it's coming down, I read a report today that said it's coming down. Well, that's good. That is good.
Well, now I'm having a hard time. Why should I be mad at President Trump when he just stopped all this flow of narcotics coming into my country?
Oh, you shouldn't be mad, but Crockett should, because Crockett's ideal America is totally different. Her ideal America is not the freedoms and the safety. It's about power, control, DEI. Giving advantages to racial segments and gender ideologies and all that stuff. It would be a screwed up mess. Is her ideal country. So of course she hates Trump, because Trump is going to have success and get honored with that success eventually. Not today, eventually. And she's got to blow that up, man. She's got to blow it up.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
And Adelina Graham is trying to do it right here in Yuma, Arizona, fighting against our ICE people.
Yeah. Well, she's part of that tribe. I'm surprised she hadn't joined the group yet.
I think she's trying. I'm seeing her hip show up on the Facebook quite often now.
You think she's put her name in to join the squad? She filled out the application for the squad.
I think so. I think she wants to be the chairman.
I don't know. I thought she might join that thing right away. Maybe they don't have an opening. I don't know how it works. It's kind of
I don't either.
I don't know, but she definitely fits the mold of the type of individual that belong in the squad.
Yes. So, well, I was going to ask you something else. I done forgot it. So
Okay. Well, because you're very, very old and you're tired from all the Christmas celebration,
Well, I know I'm old, but I've got to see a lot of stuff go on, and it's kind of interesting.
Oh, it is. There's a tremendous amount going on in our country now, historic stuff, and by historic stuff, I like to put the historic stuff on innovation, inventions. A thing things becoming better versus historic because we had a black lesbian for the first time in this position. To me, that's, an ideology just based on race and, stuff like that is kind of boring. It's like, what have you done? The character, your content of your character. What's going on? What have you built? What have you made other than, a lesbian that made it ahead or something, or I'm a guy that turned into a girl and broke a record for weightlifting. Okay, good for you. That's not really the accomplishments we're looking for, man. But we've got so many great accomplishments going on of innovation.
Well, we're going to go back to Elon Musk again, man. Here's the man. He went to the moon, parked his vehicle, picked up a couple riders, and brought it back and put it back in the slot. Now, that's what I think I should be looking at.
Yeah, and we've got so much going on. Not the moonshots yet. I mean, that hasn't been for 50 years, I guess. But but we're gearing up to be back there and possibly build a base, and I want to see that. And some of the aircraft, the technologies, the things happening even in war right now with the drones and everything, while they're scary, amazingly innovative on what's happening along those fronts.
But a lot of the drones, those are handled by communication from a satellite.
Right? Yeah, there's got to be some innovation that designed it, made it, and then guys flying it, and coordinating the coordination of them and all. But yeah, they get I think it's satellites. A lot of them are just radio controlled.
Correct.
And some of them are line filament, because the defense on those drones has been blockage of signals. Well, if you have a wire hooked to it, and some of those wires are so thin, they're 10 miles long, and just come out like a fishing reel, and just they fly along, and it's fiber optics. It's really tiny stuff. And they can fly those things like up to 10 miles on those kinds of lines. Some of the innovations have just been mind-boggling that's gone on. Putting computer chips in people's brains and letting them move machinery with a thought. So we got some good things coming on, and then we got the DEI movement. It says, "Well, congratulations, you're the first lesbian, the first of this color, the first whatever." I mean, it's just boring to me. It doesn't mean anything.
And something else President Trump is doing, he's telling the world, he's kind of tired of your BS.
Yeah.
If you're out there killing Christians,
well, yeah,
God's going to come and see you Christmas Day, and he's going to take you out.
Yeah, he did that in Nigeria just yesterday, and we'll be talking more about that. But it was kind of a surprise to me. I mean, these killings of Christians have been going on for a while in Africa. And it's horrific, scary and horrific, and killing people just based on anything like religion or race or anything is abhorrent. But it doesn't get as much attention in the United States as a micro expression on whether you insulted my race with a micro expression or something. It's just really weird.
This is why I'm happy to live in the United States.
Yeah.
Because I can sit out underneath my mesquite tree and I don't have to worry about somebody driving by and shooting.
I hope not. Now, I drive by on a bicycle quite a bit, and I don't always see you out there under the mesquite, man. You must be working or something.
Well, I'm making signs.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We're getting ready. We're getting ready for a very interesting political run.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and they're all very important, and they tend to get more important as we see the political leanings, and we see, the Democrats saying out loud what they really want, and we see the results of that, and I mean, overtaxing and wasting money, the fraud, the corruption that's going on in these blue states, and now that we've got reports out there that these blue states have much higher inflation rates. They've got lower quality of living, and they're driving these places to where they've got high levels of people evacuating, leaving, going to red states to live, because a lot of these places are uninhabitable. at least for sensible people that don't want to have poop in the streets and homeless and high crime and high taxes. The higher the crime, the more the taxes go up. Doesn't seem to make sense. I think if they hired police department and enforced laws and had their district attorneys to clamp down, there wouldn't be as much incentive to rob your car. But they made it where it's like you get a free shot, rob the cars, we won't do anything to you.
Well, they should be done the worst because you kind of nip the problem right in the bud.
Yeah, they've gotten away from that. They've gotten away, and we need to hang on to Arizona, make sure that we stay a state that's going to be working on making it livable. Instead of like Minneapolis or Minnesota, where they've gone so hard to like, well, we don't want to insult the Somalians. We'll just let them rob from us, and we can't say anything.
That's right. Arizona is one vote away from being in that part of the,
Yeah, we're very close.
Being a Democrat. Well, no, one vote, isn't it? One seat.
What, in the House? It might have been. It might be one or two. It's thin one way or the other. The House and Senate vote are thin.
If the Republicans are sleeping, voting time, we're going to lose.
Well, and with us being so close, the Democrats are going just hell bent with tons of money. They're outspending us like crazy. Yeah. But their money's being fed through taxes. It's going to NGOs that went into taxes. And NGOs are still holding on to billions and billions of assets. They have it. I mean, even though they're being investigated, they're being some contracts have been canceled and all that. But don't think they've gone away. They're here. Yeah. These NGOs collect the tax dollars and then they support political parties.
But I think President Trump will put a stop to that too.
Well, as much as he can. I mean, he's done a lot already, and exposing it is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, but it's pretty bad to use our money to fight against us. If you want to fight against me, use your own money.
Yes. Yeah. Well, their fundraisers are, organizations give money, people give them money, but it doesn't say that the money actually came from working for NGOs that collected money on grants and stuff.
Yeah. And if you can tell me this stuff doesn't happen, just take a look at Wisconsin right now. Wisconsin's got them a real bad problem. And it starts with Tampon Tim.
Oh, that's Minneapolis. Or Minnesota.
Well, yeah, that's the one right there.
Yeah.
That's a part of the United States. They were starting to take my money and your money and feed it to other countries. Instead of taking our money and using it on us, they started using it politically to take control of that state.
Well, they allowed the fraud to go on. And you're right. Some of that fraud went over to support terrorists in Somalia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I sit here and say, how can that stuff go on? And then I got to say, well, my gosh, it goes right down here in Arizona. We send all these kids from Mexico and send them to school in the United States and say, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
So,
we got a lot of work to do, but the charity of the Democrats wanting to give everything to everybody, they take it from you to give it to everybody.
Yeah.
They take it from the taxpayers. They take it from the working guys, the small businesses, the guys that are working hard. They take it from you and say, well, we need to help people in Mexico. We need help, whatever. Don't worry about them coming over, taking classroom time for free.
Yeah. Yeah, but the problem with that is out of the piece of pie, they keep about 75% of it to use among themselves and give 25% to the people that are trying to take over the country.
Oh, yeah, the Democrat socialists fly private planes and live in mansions, yes.
That's a good gig if you can get it.
Yeah. But the whole thing about socialism, they want you to live, on a shoestring so that you can support their habits. The oligarchs always do well, the top people. And The top people like Nancy Pelosi, AOC, Chuck Schumer, those guys are the top people.
Yeah, they want me to live on a mesquite tree.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you're happy with the mesquite tree.
I'm happy with my mesquite tree. It's shade.
Yeah.
I guess you could say like an old dog, at least it's smart enough to get in the shade.
There you go.
Have a good day, Russ.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Bye-bye. That was Mr. Carl. So just covering Crockett as she trashing the numbers of Trump, saying that he's not. He questions him. She questions him, and also attacking the Supreme Court, basically giving Trump carte blanche. So the Supreme Court is looking at the documents of the Constitution and supporting it. It has nothing to do with just giving carte blanche to Trump. It was actually these leftist lawyers that sided against Trump, and then the Supreme Court has to go in and clean it up. They're trying to rewrite, with activism, win judges, and the Supreme Court's not been letting that happen, thank goodness. And she puts a historic number of people have died in ICE custody. I'd like to see the numbers that she's looking at. I just think she makes this stuff up. And she made the ridiculous comment is what we need is comprehensive immigration reform. Well, that's what the left wants is comprehensive immigration reform. And if you look at the immigration bills that they put forward when Biden was in, this is what we need in order to stop it. It just allowed illegal entry. I can't remember the numbers. It was like 5,000 a day or something would be allowed, or something, some kind of illegal immigration, not legalized, where you go through common, application and research and background checks. No, it was about illegal. They wanted to just legalize illegal immigration, so you can come right in. That's what comprehensive immigration reform means to them, is that we take down the borders. They just call it immigration reform. It makes you think that they mean to stop the immigration. Well, the laws are already on the books to do that, and Trump has proven that time and time again. In fact, in October, the Trump administration announced it closed out the fiscal year 2025. And I guess that's their fiscal year, is October for the border, I guess. And the U.S. Border Patrol apprehensions since 1975 is the lowest. This year is the lowest since 1970. The Customs and Border Protection reported 237,565 Southwest border apprehensions in fiscal year 25. Now, keep in mind that the fiscal year that ended in October started in October 24 when Biden was still in. So November, December, January was all 3 months of Biden. After that, Trump took effect. And we know that the nets were down to zero, coming in. Putting, not letting it happen. Oh, in 1970, by the way, which keep in mind is 55 years ago, was 201,780. That's the historic low in the last 55 years. But in second place would be this last year, 2025, fiscal year ended in October. Awesome. The White House spokeswoman, Abigail Jackson, said, this is a bizarre conspiracy theory from a woman, and she's talking about Crockett, who couldn't even properly read the FEC website before telling lies on the House floor. It's a fact that the border is the most secure in history, and dangerous criminal, illegal aliens are being deported thanks to President Trump's policies. And I think that's fair. I think Crockett, I think she's smart enough to know the truth. Even though she doesn't use it much, she knows where it is. We'll be right back.
All right, do-it-yourselfer, you've got the idea, and you got your building supplies at Southwest Lumber.
That's right.
Now, all you need is a bunch of expensive tools to get the job done.
Oh, that's right.
And you know just the place to rent them. Southwest Lumber, your home for everything home improvement. Southwest Lumber has half-day to multiple-day rentals available on just about anything you need to finish the job. Rent equipment and tools on Saturday and Sunday. It's free. Stop in today at 1917 South Avenue B in Yuma. Southwest Lumber, ready for everything.
Well, it's all fun and games until you're stuck with bad internet. Not so much fun. Say goodbye to bad internet. Say hello to local support from a company that believes in better. Say goodbye to the spinning wheel of doom and the regular equipment rebooting, and say hello to a hassle-free experience. Say goodbye to the internet struggles of yesterday and say hello to a provider that picks our community and provides a product and service that's locally rooted right here in our hometown. Find out more at allofiber.com. That's allofiber.com.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. It's 6:35 on a Friday morning. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Oh, hi, Russ. This is listener TJ.
Hey, TJ. Good morning.
We have a couple minutes to talk about your show on Wednesday.
Sure.
At 7:50 on Wednesday, the day before, I wasn't going to call yesterday, but I didn't want to call on the Lord's birthday.
Okay.
And a man called in at 7:50, and he called me a freaking racist.
Welcome to the club. Yes, yes.
Well, yeah, and it's one of your regular callers, and he may be listening right now.
All right.
But he referred to a call I made on Tuesday about military-age young men in the street plural of Yuma.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes I'm right on my observations, sometimes I'm wrong. But he brought up farm workers, and God bless them, for certain motels on 4th Avenue, so forth.
Sure. And those are all factual comments. And that there are farming industries that have taken some of these hotels and they use them to house people that are here legally. They have visas and all that stuff.
I looked into that.
Yeah.
I looked into that. That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
But all that is well and good, Russ. But when he hung up the phone and called me a freaking racist, I've got thick skin, but it goes in one ear and out the other generally. But not this one. It's pretty
good.
But I've been called this horrible. I've never been called this horrible word in my life.
Uh-huh.
College, 20 years in the Marines, flying airplanes, airline career after that. Anybody that knows me will tell you that I'm the nicest guy in the world, level-headed and so forth. And maybe these words, frickin' racist, were kind of just blurted out halfway, accidentally.
Yeah.
In which case, I've done that before, and I accept it. I accept that. But if this caller is certain that I, caller TJ, am a freaking racist,
well,
I think it's freaking laughable.
And
but then he's going to have to live with it. That's and that's the type of thing you don't say about a fellow that you've never met.
Yeah.
An open-minded former Marine is not a freaking racist. And that's the type of thing you tell to a guy's face anyway.
And then, and you make great points in that never met, doesn't know you, all those kind of things. And it's a sensitive subject when we start talking about some of these issues, and some people take it like taboo. And that's how Minneapolis and Minnesota got into trouble, was nobody wanted to question them because they were black and they might be called a racist. But we need to talk about all issues. And the issues that we talk about and what you talked about had nothing to do with race or anything. It had to do with people in the country illegally. And we know that we lived through a terrible time where Border Patrol was bringing people in, processing them, and then turning them loose on the streets in Yuma.
Well, that's right. And I've been to more. I was at where I was staying when during the halcyon days of the Biden administration.
Sure. And it wasn't Border Patrol's fault. They were, under the orders from the commander in chief. But when we see those people in town, now none of them looked dangerous at all. They were groups of men, mostly, military age men, walking around with new clothes on and stuff. And then people automatically, without knowing the situation, without knowing things, says, no, those are agricultural workers. Those are agriculture. And they don't know. It's not true. Not all of it. Do we have agricultural workers? Yeah, we got hardworking ag workers.
We sure do.
Walking around our streets. They're wonderful people, I'm sure. And they work their butts off. And believe me, during the middle of the day when the ag workers are going on, they're not walking around the streets with brand new shiny clothes with no dirt on them.
I was going to mention that, but I don't want to be labeled.
Well, you're right, because that is the fear, and that's why we don't talk enough about some of the sensitive subjects of religion and sex, and talk about race and all that kind of stuff. We tend to stay away from the subjects because you'll be misunderstood and automatically called racist. I've been called racist many times, and unfortunately. And I was called racist for the first time in my many years. Oh, well. At 750. Well, I got the day before yesterday. I got you beat, but and I went to a black college. And so I spent 4 years at a black college, and I joined the NAACP even. And to understand, and in fact, I was the chairman of the Tea Party and an NAACP member at the same time. Which I think is it should be. We should all work together, and the NAACP wants most of the same things that we want in the countries. But if we focus on race completely, then you start excluding people, and
that's correct.
And you can't exclude them, and you can't exclude them from conversation. We need to talk about it, so God bless you for doing it, and you need to talk about observations and stuff. Now, I'll draw the line when you start demeaning people because of race, like you.
Right. Never, ever, ever have I done that.
Nope.
And especially, I've worked with every type of human being that God has given us in the Marine Corps. So, no, I'm not speaking disparagingly of anybody.
Yeah, the military, and I've never been in the military, but I grew up on military bases. I'm an Air Force brat. I didn't really understand racism until I started to go to public schools. Because there wasn't on military bases, and I used to go to military-based schools, like in Minot, North Dakota, and everything. Your schools are on the military base, so I don't remember having any racial understanding or racial issues until I got into public schools, and now it's on steroids. I mean, it's much worse now because we've got classes of people that are protected, classes of people that are given special attention. You get your own graduation ceremonies or whatever. You're called out from the crowd. And they think they're doing that for sensitivity reasons and to be fair or to be equal or to be conscious of their race. Well, I think it's causing great problems. And that started under Obama.
Well, I guess so. I suppose so.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I just wanted to mention that if you're going to call a guy a freaking racist, you ought to do it to his face.
Hey, buddy, it's so common now that the word means nothing.
Well,
people say racist because they lose an argument.
Well, I suppose you're right.
Yeah. So
okay, Russ. Well, thank you very much.
I appreciate the call. Take care, man. Bye bye.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember TJ getting called a racist. And, the real racists are the ones that lean on race. Obviously, by definition, that's racist. Racist policy is one that prefers one race over another for any reason. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, Russ, you ought to be calling.
Well, you're allowed to.
I know I didn't call him a racist. I know I said he was generalizing because of the backpacks. And when you listen to him speak, he was generalizing like all those people that are walking up and down 4th Avenue were aliens. And he needs to listen to what he was saying. But he did talk to the fact that he investigated and realized there were a lot of people that were walking the streets from those locales.
I just don't think he completely explained it exactly what he was talking about, but I understood it because I made similar observations, and I didn't mind talking about it at the time. But that was during the Biden administration, really, where we had large groups of people, and we know. And I talked to Border Patrol; they would turn them loose, and we're talking about people came across the country illegally, got some cash, and they drop them off at Walmart.
Well, I was at Morales Dam interviewing these people that were coming across during the Biden event, so I know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
And so, but like I said, I know he wasn't talking about me. Another caller called in call them racist.
Yeah, well, you're not usually one that runs to the erase word. You don't support that. I know.
I've been called a racist myself, but that's okay.
Yeah, we live with it. That's the times we live in, man. It's very common now.
But we're talking about a lot of stuff, and I have a problem with the president killing people on Christmas Day. During wars, we generally have a day of peace, and it's Christmas. And for him to bomb somebody on Christmas is going to bring out a lot of crap, unnecessary crap that he generated. I agree with him on what he's done. Don't get me wrong.
All right.
I agree with what he's done. He should have waited the day after, not the day of.
Yeah.
That's my Christian belief.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. You can't explain it, Russ. You really can't explain it.
Well, I can, but I'm hesitating. I don't have a problem with it. I don't.
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with you not having a problem with it. Just me as a Christian, through all the wars that we've had, we had. I'm not saying it happened everywhere, but there's always a day of peace. So, there's a song. I forgot, is it Garth Brooks? Somebody that talks about the World War One.
Yeah, there was a famous incident in World War One.
Yeah,
but that's an outlier. That's not. It's famous because it was not normal.
Right, exactly. And they played soccer.
Did they? Okay.
They played soccer. Two opposing countries, and there's another one where they both were singing Silent Night. Both sides were singing Silent Night.
Yes.
So there's a lot of stuff going on there, but I had a problem with that. I really did.
Okay.
Now I agree with why he did it. Absolutely.
You know why he did it. I mean, not just Christmas, but you know why he attacked ISIS, particularly in Nigeria.
Yeah, they're killing Christians
on a regular basis. I mean, it was mass slaughtering women, children, and it's been going on for a while.
Like I said, it's just my Christian values.
Okay.
Just my Christian values. The day the Lord Christ was born. And you were talking about drugs and stuff. They found out already that these vaping machines are worse than cigarettes.
How? I mean, I'm interested in the technology. I agree with you. I from the time I saw them, I said, well, those can't be good. But
all the doctor reports that are being shown right now, it's causing worse damages in the lungs. I'm not a doctor, so I can't explain all the stuff. But from what I'm reading, they're worse. And if they are in fact worse than cigarettes, why we allow them to continue to be manufactured?
I'm going to drop Dr. Joe a note on that. See if he can't come in and we just do a segment on vaping, because I'm agreeing with you. I've read things, but I couldn't quote you exactly why and what it's causing. And we know the additives that go in or it can be very dangerous because people add stuff to their vapes, drugs and stuff. But but I think just the feeling like, well, it's just harmless because it's just vapor. It's not proving to be true.
Right. Because all the additives, just like all the additives they gave on cereals, all our kids' cereals. Mm-hmm. Now we're finding out, hey, they're really bad for kids.
Yeah.
But how long have they known they were bad for human consumption, but they continued to do it?
Ever since the day they made cereal. And started putting everything in it. Have you ever really gone down the aisle and looked at the ingredients on all these cereal boxes?
Yep.
I mean,
yes, I can't understand them. I got to get my freaking phone on.
Well, even the ones you can understand don't make sense because it's always like sugar's like number 1 or 2, or it's broken up into 5 different types of sugar. There'll be sugar and then brown sugar and then corn syrup and then fructose and it's just cotton candy.
But what I'm getting at, I agree with what's going on as far as fentanyl. From what I understand, there's 500,000 people have died from drugs. No,
over what time period? I mean, it's like 100,000 a year, but it's probably gone on at least 5 years or more.
But there's more people died from that than the Vietnam War.
Oh my gosh! Every year,
58,000.
Yeah, every year more people die.
So I understand what's going on with that. So let me ask you, Russ, how many people die of cigarette cancer?
I don't know the numbers, but the cancer rates itself are like 600,000-700,000 a year. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah,
but that's all cancers. It's not just lung cancers. And,
but they're still producing it, right?
Oh, correct. And they try to tax the bejesus out of it, and just to make it so it's not used as much. But that doesn't work. I mean, a big percentage of people still smoke.
The taxes are on cigarettes now include for the cigarette companies to pay the lawsuits.
Well, that's part of their pricing. Like I told you, I was in Ukraine, and Marlboro was like 50 cents to 40 cents a pack, versus over here like $8.50 a pack. You know,
12? Is it 12? Is it 12 or is it $8.50? I thought it was like close to $12 now.
Well, you can buy a carton for less than 100, but then they're not amazing. A carton of cigarettes for $100. It's crazy.
But the hypocrisy of what we're doing.
Yeah.
We know cigarette tobacco is bad for you. Kills you. We know that. We know all the crap they put in cereals and food kill you.
Yep.
And we know fentanyl kills you.
Yep.
By God, we're a bunch of hypocrites because we're allowing cigarettes to be sold. And I was a cigarette smoker, and I love my cigars.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that as an American, you see all this crap that's going on, then we're allowing all these vaping machines and all this tobacco to go on, continue, and all the crap that's going on in our food.
Well, we live in a free country.
Yeah, exactly. We live in a hypocritical country.
Well, it's free though. I mean, if we want to smoke cigarettes and die, we can do that. Unfortunately, and I'm not saying we need to change that. But
too bad that the taxpayers are paying lots of money to help these people with their medical during their time of need for cigarette causing cancer.
Well, there's a good case to be made for that, and that's why probably some of the prices are so high and some of the taxes are so high, is to cover some of that, probably.
Yeah, well, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're a country of hypocrites. We're allowing things to go on, and I'm like with you, Russ. We have the right to choose.
Yeah.
We have the right to be obese.
Yeah, but if we took away everything that's going to kill you, then we wouldn't have Harleys.
That's right. or BB guns.
Right. We can't plastic wrap everything and everybody. And it's up to free choice. But I think information is good. And that's what Kennedy's doing, is giving information. So at least we understand the truth versus being deceived and thinking that all cereals on the shelf are good for you, including, Fruit Loops and all that stuff. It's not.
Yeah. Like I said, I love my Twinkies growing up. I love my pies growing up, and
But I know you pushed away from that, and you look a lot better and feel better.
Well, I got a command sergeant major in the house.
And still love this pie.
God bless you.
Yeah, they're homemade though. Yeah. They're homemade.
Right.
But matter of fact, after I hang up here and have my breakfast, I'm going to have myself a blueberry piece of pie.
Wow, man. Well, you enjoy yourself, sir, and I appreciate the call.
Yeah. Thanks. God bless. Well, I just want to make sure that gentleman, I know I didn't call him a racist. I said his general, because he was putting old people with backpacks and blah, blah, blah. But, at least he manned up. He checked out for himself.
Well, and I don't think that was I don't think that was
for his service.
Thank you, man. Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't think that was intentional on TJ. It got confused, but there was a group of people that were running around that were in the country illegally. They were not. I mean, I think they were trying to stay a low profile just to get out of town. Didn't want to cause troubles, but they were here. There's no question. As long as Gilbert mentions the airstrike in Nigeria, I'll talk a little bit about it. And it was in northwest Nigeria, and it was on Christmas night. And obviously, Gilbert feels strongly that shouldn't have happened on that day. Not strongly against what happened, I guess. But ISIS militants have been accused of killing Christians now for some time. And I mean, like small villages and stuff getting wiped out, or attacks on, during church services and things like that. And it's been going on for a while. Trump said tonight, at my discretion as commander-in-chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorism scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be a hell to pay. And tonight there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorists to prosper. May God bless our military, and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continue. U.S. Africa Command confirmed the attacks. He says that they say at the direction, in fact, they put a post out on X, at the direction of the President of the United States and the Secretary of War, and in coordination with Nigerian authorities, U.S. Africa Command conducted strikes against ISIS terrorists in Nigeria on December 25th, 2025, in Sokoto State. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz. I don't think it's any relation to Tim Waltz, the tampon Tim guy. I don't think so. But this is Mike Waltz. Merry Christmas to the Christians in Nigeria and around the world who know tonight that the President of the United States will fight for them. So it sounds like Christmas was almost, positive for as far as what these guys thought. Like this will be a Christmas of protection or something. At least the way it's spelled out here by Mike Waltz, by African Command, and all that. That maybe it was even intentional. I have no idea. Tom Cotton, Republican out of Arkansas. I commend President Trump, Secretary Hegseth, and our brave troops for these strikes against bloodthirsty ISIS savages who are not only persecuting Christians, but also have killed many Americans. Last month, Trump threatened to do things in Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about. Go into that now disgraced country guns ablazing. That warning came. That warning set the stage apparently for the Christmas night strikes. Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of War, fulfilled the president, and he said the president was clear last month. The killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and elsewhere must end. The Department of War is always ready, so ISIS found out tonight on Christmas. More to come. Grateful for Nigerian government support and cooperation. Merry Christmas. Then nearly a month later, the Trump administration rolled out a new visa restriction policy in response to a wave of brutal anti-Christian attacks in Nigeria, targeting those that are accused of orchestrating religious violence against Christian in Western Africa and nation countries around the world. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, says the United States has taken decisive action in response to the mass killing and violence against Christians by radical Islamic terrorists. He said then the violent actors in Nigeria and beyond. The violence prompted Trump to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. I'm really angry about it. What's happening in Nigeria is a disgrace. And Rubio said earlier this month, as President Trump made clear, the United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. And of course, that happened on Christmas. I don't think that's a big holiday for the ISIS folks. I don't think they recognize it. But it sounds like, if you take all these comments together, it sounds like it's almost calculated. Maybe not a coincidence that it happened on Christmas night. I understand Gilbert in it. A lot of the people that were out there, on this mission with the military were Christians. A lot were. I wonder how they feel about it. I mean, maybe they feel like it was proper. I don't know. I haven't read anything about that or seen any comments. And generally, our people in the armed forces don't comment on such things like that. But I mean, we've been known about this Nigerian thing and these ISIS terrorists that have been trying to just wipe out Christianity in their area anyway. It's already 7 o'clock, so I'm going to take a break because we go to the top of the hour news, and I'll be back. AM 560 KBLU.
There's a man in D.C. He's 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll bring that on home, just like he said.
This is News Talk 660 KBLU. You
American military strikes in Paul Stevens Fox News. President Trump says the U.S. launched air strikes in northwest Nigeria Christmas night, targeting ISIS for allegedly killing Christians. He called the operation decisive and warned about further attacks. Fox's Peter Ducey in D.C.
President Trump's official word on this came via Truth Social and a post that says, tonight at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who've been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians, as little is not seen for many years and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay, and tonight there was. This follows a handful of ISIS-linked or ISIS-inspired attacks that rattled the whole world this holiday season.
Now, the president's claims about Christian persecution have been disputed by both the Nigerian government and some regional analysts as well. The Trump administration, meantime, and Ukrainian officials working through Christmas to try and bring an end to the war in Ukraine with Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he and Ukrainian leaders had a very good conversation with President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and the president's son-in-law and unofficial advisor, Jared Kushner. The Ukrainian leaders said they discussed certain substantive details of the ongoing work toward a peace plan, saying, quote, there are good ideas that can work toward a shared outcome and the lasting peace. President Trump has made it a priority to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but so far, all sides have been unable to come to an agreement. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News. And a 15th victim has died from injuries sustained in the crash of the UPS plane in Louisville, Kentucky on the 4th of November. The aircraft's left engine and left pylon broke away from the wing just as the plane was taking off. Americans listening to Fox News. Wesley,
ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 170%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Joe McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and then your maintenance fee would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll give you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-393-1881. That's 393-1881. 800-393-1881.
Is the season for cozy nights, holiday movies, and full houses. So make sure your internet can keep up. Allo Fiber brings you lightning fast 100% fiber optic internet that doesn't slow down when everyone's home for the holidays. Check them out at allofiber.com. To be a part of Russ's show, call 928-344-5258. That's 928-344-5258.
At Exception Community Hospital, we are redefining what emergency care should feel like. Fast, personal, and compassionate. Our experienced physicians and staff are here 24/7 to care for your unexpected illness or injury. Don't wait for emergency care where you can be seen in minutes. With short wait times, you'll get the prompt attention you need because every minute matters. And if your recovery takes longer, we provide the patient care you deserve. Exceptional community hospital, compassionate care, exceptional service.
Man and and 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting
Me. AM 560 KBIU, Russ Clark with you. It's 7:04 on a Friday morning, day after Christmas. I hope everybody's Christmas worked out. I think we had a great day, a little rain in the morning, but it was a wonderful day. And Helen and I got out, visited grandkids, visited some families, but mostly just a relaxing day. Not all that busy. We just drove out and saw a few people. All the convenience stores seem to be open. No major box stores or anything. In years past, I think they were like Walmart's would open up or something, but not that I saw. But thankfully, because I needed some gas, Circle K's, a lot of gas stations were open, but the traffic was light. Not a lot of people moving around. The Bidens did a little bit on Christmas. Looks like they took a Christmas family photo. President Biden, former President Biden family. And it hit social media with a big buzz, and that they really hit Joe Biden. Yeah, Joe Biden, former president, was in the back of the family photo, half his face covered by Joe Biden, who was standing in front. Hunter Biden was positioned prominently right in the middle there. So up front, he's kind of like the leader of the family at this point. You know, Joe must still be struggling. Don't know. Joe Biden's ex had it out there. I don't know if he posted, but somebody put it on Joe Biden's ex and wishing you a peaceful and joyful Christmas Eve filled with joy. And they put that picture on there, which got a lot of notice and feedback as it should. One person wrote, took me a while to find you, champ. Another one wrote, I think it's disrespectful to put the eldest family member in the back of a photo taken for the former president's social media. That is strange. I mean, it looks like the picture was taken for social media and for the president's social media. And they put him to where you couldn't even see him. He was in the back. It's just really odd. A lot of people compared him to Where's Waldo, if you remember that, and called him Where's Joe. Why are you the back blocked by Jill? Somebody wrote that Hunter is the alpha now. Nobody was hugely disrespectful at all. There was a lot of curiosity. Let me see. One said, wishing you a peaceful Christmas Eve too, Mr. President. Let's hope the spirit of goodwill extends to the new year and helps bridge some of the divides we've seen. The image is a nice reminder of simpler times. I don't know that I would agree that Joe is a reminder of simpler times. I think it was very confusing, very tough. What we were going through with higher inflation that reached 9%, and border crisis, just unimaginable numbers. It's going to take years to straighten all that out. Trump is doing an amazing job first year of just removing people that should never have been here in the first place. A lot of criminals and stuff, and that's doing untold damage to our country. I think 2.5 million or so. I think 1.9 is what I've heard that they're self-deporting people, and then 600,000 that ICE has picked up. ICE has just really been hugely much more aggressive and much more as far as getting people out than they have been in years. In this sector, probably 10 times or more than 10 times the amount under Trump and what they did under Biden, because Biden really put a stop to it very, very limited. And Trump has opened up the door and said, "Do your job, get it done." A sad story here about a Florida man. Florida man had killed his wife. Yeah, on I don't know if was it Christmas or it was Monday. Yeah, I'm just getting the story now, but it was during the season. But killed his wife, shot his stepdaughter earlier in the week. It was on Monday. Jason Kinney, 47 years old, shot his wife, Crystal Kinney, December 22nd. And that's according to Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd. Grady Judd said the wife, Jason Kinney, had been drinking, and the argument escalated. I guess Monday's NFL game between San Francisco 49ers and the Indianapolis Colts. Argument escalated. Because Crystal had asked her husband to turn it off, turn off the TV, and I guess it created an argument to the point where the mother asked a 13-year-old boy to call 911. So he ran to a neighbor's house, and that 13-year-old boy heard the shots as his mother was killed, and his stepdaughter. I don't know if it was his sister was shot twice, but she's in the hospital. She's recovering. She's 13 years old. She said, "I begged him, 'Don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me,' and he shot me anyway." And that was the 13-year-old. One-year-old daughter was found at the home sleeping in her crib. Now, and here's what the county sheriff, J.D. Judd, said about the incidents. The entire family was destroyed. Our homicide detectives are distraught. When you go in there's a beautiful Christmas tree with lots of Christmas presents under it, just like the nuclear family should be. So I can't imagine. I mean, the police officers have to go in and make sense of that scene and put that all back together. It's got to be tough, especially this time of year. But apparently, he was doing cocaine or something. They searched the home, and they found that Crystal, the wife, had wrote her husband urging him to get help. The note was, "You're drinking, you're using cocaine again. This is not the way the family should be. You need God." And she wrote that apparently a few days before he took her life, and even shot the stepdaughter. Well, he'd left the building, called his sister, and claimed that he'd done something terrible, and that you would never, you're not going to see me again or something. The police caught up with him when he went to his father's house, and they found him in the back shed or something. And deputies tried to get him to get out of the shed, and he fatally shot himself. So I don't know how we get to these places, but a terrible story out of Florida over the holidays. And the amount of lives that it's affected, these kids that are now in the custody of their grandparents, the police officers, the sheriff's deputies had to go to the scene and take all that, especially during the season, which should be something totally different. It's just got to be horrific for them to have to handle all of this stuff. The 13-year-old girl who's in the hospital, she got shot in the shoulder and in the face, and she is recovering. A lot of lives changed, destroyed, and he took the coward's way out, of course. Of course he did. Which unfortunate. I mean, during these joyous seasons and all this stuff, these kinds of things, unfortunately, always pop up, and there's always some extreme cases of something terrible. But that was the worst one I saw. That was it. I think it was enough. That was plenty for me. Just hard to wrap your head around. A federal court rules in favor of a professor, a college professor, from the University of Washington. The University of Washington professor Stuart Regis, I guess he was exercising free speech, which is what we should be doing, is exercising free speech. But he took on the bear. I mean, he parried his employer, which is the university, official statement that the land encompassing the Seattle school belongs to local indigenous people. Well, Stewart, I guess, didn't agree with it or whatever. So he wrote. Let me see that. They said the official land agreement statement says the university sets on. And this is what the university had said. The university sets on land owned by the Coast Salish indigenous group that populated the area before Europeans arrived. So the university writes that. They acknowledge that that land belonged to them. Well, Regis I guess this was happened in 2022. He has a syllabus that said, "I acknowledge that the land." I'm sorry. I acknowledge that by the labor theory of property, the Coast Salish people can claim historical ownership of almost none of the land currently occupied by the University of Washington. And that got noticed somehow. The Student Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee, that's a DEI group, submitted a complaint about offensive language in Regis's parody that the other faculty members and administrators who asked the computer science professor to remove this statement. And that's according to court papers. He refused to remove his statement from the document, so the university staff removed it from the online syllabus. So Regis took on the university pushback, and which is kind of hard to imagine. This professor is taking on a woke university in a woke state that still had DEI committees. He pushed back, conducting interviews with local media and informing, just goes right out to the media, informing everyone at the University of Washington's diversity, their mailing list, that the parody will be included on paper copies of the future syllabus, according to court papers. Well, a committee investigating determined that Regis' actions violated university policy and caused significant disruption. I think DEI causes significant disruptions myself. Administrators then warned him that any further disruptions would violate the university's affirmative action policies and could result in sanctions against him. Well, lawsuits ensued. This guy's got, I don't know, is it guts? Is it guts? Or is he crazy? He's attacking the bull head on. But the district court ruled that the university's actions against Regis did not constitute First Amendment retaliation or viewpoint discrimination. Well, the higher courts, ruling more than 3 years later, said otherwise. Regis also sought to situate land acknowledgments within a broader agenda of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which he opposes. His statement waded into significant public debate about land acknowledgments and the political environment that favor them. As University of Washington acknowledges, there is a live controversy even in the field of Native American studies over land acknowledgments. Regis' speech, however, misguided, one might regard it, was more political speech than merits the highest First Amendment protection. And here's what Regis said afterwards. He said, after 39 years of teaching, his fight for free speech almost cost him his dream job. So he has a dream job, and he took these guys on head first, knowing that's what he wants to do. He wants to be a professor. Well, good for him. He says, I hope my victory will inspire others to push back against those who have been attempting to limit free speech on college campuses. But see, on the left, I think free speech is allowed as long as you agree with them. You can't have free speech that disagrees with the left. Then you're going to get canceled. Well, the University Associate Director of Strategic Communications, David Ray, said Regis has maintained his faculty position and teaching duties since this case began. The university is still considering the next steps in the matter. We maintain that we have a responsibility to protect our students, and the University of Washington acted appropriately. Protect the students. That's what they hide behind. We're protecting students from what? Free speech? We're protecting students from free speech. I mean, this wasn't threatening. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't. It was about a land dispute on whether or not indigenous tribes had ownership claims on the land. Stewart disagreed, and he paid a price. I mean, 3 years in lawsuits is a price. I don't care. I mean, he may have won them, but they're not easy, and I don't think they're easy to live with. I would imagine that they're a great concern. Great concern. I don't know if you've ever heard of a freedom city. What a freedom city is. Well, right now I don't know if there is. Well, there might be one, but kind of in its infant stages. But Freedom City is something that billionaires and entrepreneurs and Donald Trump have ideas about creating a freedom city that is different than what we have right now. And I'll explain what they say that is. Let me take a phone call. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Yes.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, we're here, man.
Okay, I'm here too. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. You had a nice Christmas day here.
I did. Yeah, it was very nice. It was very, very fun, very warm, very good.
Very relaxed.
Absolutely.
Had a little wine.
No, I didn't do wine. No.
You're missing out.
I'm not missed out. I've had wine before. I'm good.
Okay. I haven't had 2020 before, and I'm good for 2 days.
There you go.
That's some nasty stuff, man.
I didn't even know they still made it. Well, that comes with a really nice screw cap, though.
Yeah, that's really high class. Anyway, I didn't listen to any news yesterday because I watched movies.
Okay.
And the first time I heard about the bombing in Nigeria when Gilbert brought it up. So
Right.
yeah, that was crazy.
It is crazy. I don't know that I'm against it. I think that ISIS tribes over there are just creating atrocities, to eliminate, wipe out Christianity, one church at a time, and they're just killing everybody. And they've been doing that for a while. They're all Muslim based, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not against it. I mean,
Yeah.
because did they attack any Christians yesterday?
I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, something like this attack had to be planned quite some time in advance. It wasn't a last minute thing. I mean, I think these were coordinated and calculated.
Oh yeah, it has to be storyboard.
Yeah, so that they make sure that they hit who they want to hit. That there's not collateral damage. That there's something like that. So I'm sure they had to be working on this for a while.
Yeah, they didn't want to hit the Christians, for goodness sake.
Right. Yeah, you want to stay away from innocence and all that, and you want to hit the players and the people that are creating the problems, not.
And another thing, Russ, getting back to Christmas, these people do not celebrate Christmas. They don't believe in Jesus Christ or God.
No, they don't.
So what's the big difference?
Well, according to Minnie, and I'm sure, and Gilbert, it was a day of peace for us, and we should honor that. But I'm not saying I completely agree with that, but I understand it.
Yeah. And from your the one of the callers that said he was called a racist. Well, I've been called a racist too, and I'm one of the not people in the world.
Yeah. Well, believe me.
You know,
I've been, and I remember a time when being called a racist. I mean, you just really shocked me at first. Like what are you talking about? You know, then I realized it's just a universal blanket of I don't like you. You know, that's it.
Yeah. I lived here in Mexico with a Mexican woman for a year. I mean, we had many friends, and I picked up the language pretty good. I forgot it now, but when you hear it for a month or two, you kind of pick up on it.
Yeah, when you're embedded like that, sure, immersed.
Embedded, Russ?
Yeah, embedded. You were embedded. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no. She was. These people could have been the nicest people in the world.
Yeah. Well,
you know, I mean, we didn't run into any cartels or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we lived here in Algodones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's there are cartels and stuff in there. I mean, there's a criminal element. Hopefully, I never have to run into them.
Yeah, well, I think they pretty much keep this town pretty clean because this is their money pit.
Oh, yeah, Algodones is all about tourism. It's medical tourism mostly. Dentists is like more dentists per square mile than any other place on the planet. Is what they claim. I would imagine it's true.
Yeah. Well, we lived off the beaten path. I mean, we were with a bunch of other houses and stuff like that, but the tourists never go down where we were.
Well, yeah. Well, I generally try to stay right near the tourist areas myself. I'm pretty close to that. When I go down, yeah.
Yeah. When's the last time you were here?
Probably a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have some dental work or something?
No. Although I do go down there for dental work. I go down. Yeah, I go down and see Grace. I don't know if you're familiar with that organization.
What?
Grace. Grace is the name of the dental clinic.
I might have heard of it. It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
But I go to Dr. Edric. He's a friend of mine. He's very, something. They're so reasonable, and they're just as good as the American doctors.
Well, I think I've heard of great success. I've also heard of people that have had bad work done. And you got to be careful. I mean, there's a lot of a dentist here in Yuma that fix that bad work for you. But there have been people that have gotten bad work. So, yeah, they've got dentists so much. You throw a rock down the street, you're going to hit a dentist. But I think you have to be selective.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You have to do your research, obviously. I've heard of that too. But the guy that I got, he went to an accredited dental school, and there's a very nice school in Mexicali.
Oh, I imagine there are, and a lot of some of the dentists down there have been trained in the United States, but operation of a clinic in Algodones is so much cheaper.
Yeah.
That just the insurance over here for liability insurance, I imagine, costs quite a bit that they don't have to do in Mexico.
Yeah, when I was working up north, I had dental insurance, and the only thing that was good for was 2 cleanings a year. If you did anything else, they raped you.
Yeah. Well, you can get a cleaning down in Mexico for like $30 or something,
Oh, definitely. That's what 25. That's what they pay.
Yeah.
So, all right, buddy, I'm gonna go.
Take care, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Mr. Danny. Phone lines are open 928-344-5258. Freedom Cities, if you haven't heard of one. And something that Donald Trump has ideas about. Well, first, let me take the phone call. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
How are you today?
I'm doing well.
Good. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
All right. So I know it's supposed to be a day of peace when Christ was born.
Uh-huh.
However, this is just my take on it, and I am a Christian, is those Christians in Nigeria got a day of peace.
Yeah.
And so that's the way to look at it at times. Even back when Jesus, when he was born, is peace and goodwill towards all men. At this point, they needed some peace, and they got it.
Yeah, and I understand that some are uneasy about it, but man, it's a tough world, it's a tough deal, and these guys were killing Christians every day. So,
well, we live in a world today that the enemies know no peace.
Well,
and there's times, as the military says, adapt and overcome.
Right.
And that day, Trump adapted and overcame, and he gave peace.
If we didn't give peace to our enemies, we'd probably have a lot less trouble.
Yep, but our Christians had a little bit of peace.
They do, and I think, and I wonder how the Christians in Nigeria feel about it. I mean, I would think that they would have supported this, but I don't know. I haven't seen any interviews come out of there yet. But it was a surprise because we've been saber rattling for quite a while on this issue, and not a lot's been done. But this one seems like it was pretty substantial. Although I haven't read anything about how big the attack was, how many locations, but just from the inferences that I read in the articles, it was pretty widespread.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out here shortly. You have a good day.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, it was. I think it was more than one operation. I mean, it was multiple operations, probably. Freedom cities. A freedom city, and this is billionaires, entrepreneurs, Donald Trump that want to do these things. Freedom cities are essentially deregulated economic zones designed to encourage innovation and technological development without, or with much less, cumbersome bureaucracy, rules, and taxes. It sounds like utopia. Put up a city with, do what you want, and I mean, as far as production and entrepreneurism, technology advancement, and all that kind of stuff. Well, Freedom City in the United States would, and we don't have one, but it would require at least 2 states to demarcate land along their borders and to agree on taxation and policies. And something comes to mind when I'm reading this Freedom City thing. United Arab Emirates is hugely rich, and they don't really have the natural resources like a lot of the Saudi Arabias and all this, where you got tons of oil and all that kind of stuff. Now they're rich because they set up this this country to be very low tax. In fact, one of the lowest tax. It's a 10% corporate tax or something. Really low tax, inviting everyone in and giving entrepreneurs opportunity to invest. And I've never been to United Arab Emirates. My son was. He was there for quite a while. With the military. He was helping with the F-16s down there, because they do own F-16s, and he was on loan from the U.S. Air Force to help with their maintenance and stuff. But it's rich. I mean, it's got tons of money because they move there. Businesses invest, people invest, hotels, all that kind of stuff. And they did not list it in the article, United Arab Emirates, as being a freedom city by any means. But I look at it as to, over the years, as I've seen that grow, and I'm like, well, what is it? It was the taxes and stuff. The hands off, and let these people build and grow, and they built something beautiful because people want to invest. But to put it in the United States, we're talking about having land set aside just for that. So it's been on President Trump for a while, for at least 3 years. And back in March of 23, when President Trump was out of office, he had a video statement detailing several plans on revitalizing American innovation. Because as we tax it and we put, policies and regulations and harassment on it, we end up like California, where people are leaving California instead of innovating. They're doing the opposite. They're pulling up, as we've seen from major companies pulling out. The most recent is the refineries that just pulled out of there. I mean, and they lost billions to do it and relocate and get out of there. But they can't survive in that overwhelming pressure of a huge bureaucracy. And a Freedom City would be free of that. Trump said past generations of Americans pursued big dreams and daring projects that once seemed absolutely impossible. They pushed across an unsettled continent and built new cities in the wild frontier. They transformed American life with the interstate highway system. Magnificent it was. And they launched a vast network of satellites into orbit all around the Earth. But today our country has lost its boldness. Under my leadership, we will get it back in a very big way. If you look at just 3 years ago, what we were doing was unthinkable. Of course, he was doing this video when he was out of office. He's looking back when he was in his first term. He said how good it was, how great it was for our country. Our objective will be a quantum leap in American standard of living. Here are just a few of the ways we can do it. Almost 1/3 of the landmass of the United States is owned by the federal government. With a very, very small portion of that land, just a fraction, 1/2 of 1%, would you believe that? We should hold a contest to charter up to 10 new cities and award them to the best proposals for development. In other words, we'll actually build new cities in our country again. These freedom cities will reopen the frontier, reignite American imagination, and give hundreds of thousands of young people and other people, all hardworking families, a new shot at home ownership and, in fact, the American dream. Now, it's not been put into practice yet in the United States. But the idea, I guess, has already been started, at least in the Honduras. Pronomus Capital, a venture capital firm backed by 10 billionaires, Peter Thiel, Mark Anderson, to help push for the creation and development of a private-run economic zone on parts of Roatan, an island off the coast of Honduras and on the coast of La Ceiba, Honduras. And it's a zone of economic development and employment. It's a ZEDE, Zone of Economic Development and Employment. And that's on the company's website. It's a startup zone with a regulatory system designed for entrepreneurs to build better, cheaper, and faster than anywhere else in the world. I mean, sounds like a fabulous idea. And I'd like to see Trump put 10 of them in the United States. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Morning, sir. How you doing?
We're doing well, Ted.
It's not a new idea.
Oh, no, probably not.
A family from New York, which is Donald's ex-love. It's called Levitt & Sons. You can look them up. They were into building large communities. I grew up in one of them in Fairfax County, and the premise behind it was to try and put all the community in that area. Unfortunately, local politicians
who mean well, by the way. I just want to say they mean well, even though they screw it up. Yeah.
Right. No, some of them don't mean well, but anyway, when you get a group of humans together, you can't have a utopia. Sorry. You cannot have a utopia.
What? Don't dash my dream so fast.
Yeah. But like I say, they've tried this before, and they're going to try that thing in Texas with the Islamic State.
Well,
their little utopia down there. But I'm telling you, Levitt & Sons, look them up. They were a huge builder of satellite cities, whatever you want to call them. And it doesn't work. You know, it's a great thought. It's a great idea, but it will not.
I think
it does not work.
I disagree with you. I think it can work. I mean, but they put the criteria there that would have to be set aside in the United States. It would have to be something that states would agree, we don't have any control over it, leave it alone. It's like it's separate own entity. Because you're right. As soon as the legislature of the state that has this Freedom City see the wealth, they're going to tap it because they need the money for the homeless people they allowed to be homeless, you know.
Right, and I'm going to disagree with you because it wasn't the state government that caused it. It was the local boards, the Fairfax County School Board, the Fairfax County Board of Directors.
Well, then they deserve what they got. And
well, I didn't.
I'm not sure about that. But we've heard the stories of the founding of our country and the people that come over early on, where they started off in socialism. And then they changed it to entrepreneurs and keep what you make. A simple thing like that is what kept them alive. And that's what this Freedom City would be. Okay, hands off, keep what you make, with some exceptions, like there would have to be some some form of small taxes, but not like, well, you're rich, so you got to pay 40% while the rest of us are getting money back instead of paying anything. It would be
right. It will turn into the haves and the have-nots. It always does.
Of course. Yeah, we demonize the rich. I don't know. If we set it up right, it could last for a while anyway, until some good-meaning people says, "Well, you got so much, you should give it away." And see, these politicians like to give away other people's money, not theirs. They like to give away other people's money.
Sure, I told you the palms of their hands are so wore out they can't hold on to a coffee cup.
That's right.
But like I say, I witnessed it on the East Coast. All those subdivisions, all those supposed satellite communities, and they all became their own little country, let's say.
Yeah, but they were still subject to the state's regulations, the state's taxes, the state's property taxes. What this is talking about is setting it up totally separate, so the state don't touch them. But I don't know how they get that.
But eventually, somebody has to govern that.
Yep.
However you look at it.
Yeah, you're right.
And the state legislature is nothing but a mirror image of any local government.
But I look at the United Arab Emirates put together, and that thing is held together still with this really low tax rate, corporate tax rates, like one of the lowest in the world, and they actually thrive because of it. They go nuts because of it. And in this country, we don't say we want to raise taxes. We want to raise money by lowering the taxes, which works. They raise money by taking more money away from you and chasing the billionaires away.
I understand that. Yeah. But you cannot use the Arab Emirates as a model for anything that will work in this country. You can't use it as a model. It may look nice, it may sound nice, but you cannot use that Arab Emirates as an example of how this would work, because it will not work in a free democracy. It won't.
Well,
it will not.
We have a lot of Arab countries that are not democracies, and they're authoritarian governments, and they suffer with poverty, even though they've got tons of riches and princes and stuff that fly, homemade jets and stuff. But the extreme poverty. But United Arab Emirates has I would guess more players. I mean, they could have poverty too. I guess there's going to be some people in there with that.
Well, there's a lot of people that have no hands. A lot of different things.
Yeah.
Just a lot of different things. And I'm not trying to degrade any of their beliefs. That's their beliefs. But you cannot compare the Emirates nation to the United Nation. And vice versa. You can't do it. It's just two opposite things. Just two totally opposite beliefs.
I can compare them to Saudi Arabia. I can compare them to other Muslim countries, and they seem to excel. And they have zero personal income tax in the United Arab Emirates.
They also have kings and caliphs.
Yeah.
And their camels are worth more than their women. It's a fact. Don't argue that with me.
Hey,
camels are worth more
a personal decision. I embrace it. That's what you want. Get yourself a camel. But the ones that have zero personal income tax: United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Monaco, the Bahamas. I didn't know the Bahamas, Bermuda, and the Cayman Islands. Which I guess that's why there's so much business in the Cayman Islands and banking and stuff.
Well, there's no controls over it to speak of.
Yeah.
You forget our little diversion here in the United States. Epstein was on the Virgin Islands down there because there's no control, there's no overseeing of what goes on.
Hungary in the European Union has a personal income of 15%, but it's a flat tax, just flat. Everybody pays 15, which really I think would be great for us if we could come with a flat tax. And the corporate tax is only 9%. Wow. Right. What's ours, 35 or something?
Right. Like I told you, my grandfather fled Hungary, okay?
Yeah, well, it's different now.
If he was still alive, he would not go back. Once he came here and saw what this was over here,
yeah,
I know he'd never go back. Ever.
yeah. Well, it's not good memories, maybe.
We just can't get along, Russ. Simple as that. We're fighting over lands that supposedly belong to Indians. They didn't believe in land ownership.
Right. Well,
they didn't believe in land ownership.
We'd like to do the same here. Believe me, people all the time are talking about that. You know, that 500 years ago or something, this and that. So, yeah. Well, I've owned a lot of land in the last few years, but I'm not going to go back and say, well, I owned this house 20 years ago. It's mine.
Well, maybe they'll scalp you.
I don't know.
All right. Have a good day, bro.
You too, sir. Man, take care, man. Bye-bye. 7:44. Let me take a break. AM 560.
We're the comfort experts, people you can trust. Ask our customers. That's why they count on us. Over 50 years of service, keep us going strong. We've got a name you can depend upon. Hamburger, refrigeration, and electric. Hansburger, count on us.
The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show is coming Friday and Saturday, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center with hundreds of beautiful quilts and wearable art items on display. See the special quilts celebrating America's 250th birthday. There'll be items for sale at the country stores and a fat quarter basket drawing. Admission is just $8. Buy tickets for your chance at winning the Love in a Mist quilt. Proceeds to benefit the Hanson House. The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center. Don't miss it.
Is the season for cozy nights, holiday movies, and full houses. To make sure your internet can keep up, Allo Fiber brings you lightning fast 100% fiber optic internet that doesn't slow down when everyone's home for the holidays. Check them out at allofiber.com. Listen to KBLU from 8 to 9 every Monday morning to Life, Death, and the Law. Sean Garner and Adam Hansen discuss estate planning options. Learn how you can plan your estate using a will or trust to protect your family and secure your legacy. That's Life, Death, and the Law every Monday, 8 to 9 a.m. on 560 KBLU.
What's up, Yuma, and hello, Russ Clark Show listeners. Johnny Porter here, and I just made the switch to Allo Fiber, and it's a game changer. Lightning fast speeds for streaming, working from home, and gaming. No buffering or slowed down speeds. It's time to ditch the glitch and switch to Allo Fiber.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can slow it down, get it going slower. Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin captive pegol, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3".
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. It's already 7:48 on a Friday morning, day after Christmas, and we still have New Year's to come up. I mean, yeah, the party's not over. We got more coming. Yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen in the next hour. I just found out that Derek's in Wisconsin. I don't know if we have a show today at 8 o'clock. We will find out. There'll be something. And normally we do finance shows. with Derek or Tom, one way or the other. The party that made life more expensive wants credit for noticing, and this is it's an opinion piece, an article that I read that I kind of liked, and of course it's going to be partisan. It is partisan because it's talking about party. It's talking about the Democrats that caused an affordability crisis. Affordability crisis because of the progressive policies, and now it says they're pretending to be shocked by it. And I think that's a fair observation. The Democrats are now blaming affordability, and I think you'll see it with most any Democratic leader. They blaming affordability on Republicans. And this article says it's a striking display of audacity, the very definition of chutzpah. But for more than a year, the Democrats have been struggling to find a message, and we've all seen that. The message has been open borders, but the message has been DEI. The message has been boys in the girls' room. I mean, they have seemed to have wrapped themselves around every issue that's unpopular in the United States. Everyone, they want to raise taxes. They want to pay and subsidize health care for everybody in a system that doesn't work, that they drove up crazy with Obamacare, which is horrible and not working, and drove out competition and actually outlawed some competition. And now they want to run on affordability, which I think is a great observation. They're running on affordability like they in New York by giving more away. And Mandani is really taken that one and run with it. He got elected as the mayor of New York City, one of the more prominent cities in the whole United States, probably the whole world. And he's now the mayor as an open socialist because he's gonna bring to the party, I guess, free buses, free childcare, government-owned grocery stores that don't make profits, which probably will charge higher prices than the stores that do profits because they know how to do it. And you start getting government involved and bureaucracies involved, and you start hiring uncles and aunts and DEI personnel to run it, you're going to have massive losses, which goes back to the taxpayer anyway. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hello, Russ. How you doing?
We're doing well, OG. Good morning.
Listen, not so long ago, Russia tried that owning the grocery stores. It didn't work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, back in the 50s on, there's always big long lines, shortages on everything. Remember?
Yeah.
They're not really good at military if you think about it. They just throw a lot of freaking money at the military, and that's what we see working because there's so much. It's like a school system.
Yeah.
$80 to $100 million went to the federal school system, and with a shutdown going on, it proves that by education being in the control of the states, the shutdown didn't affect it at all.
Yeah.
And during that period, they laid off, I think, 90,000 Department of Education employees.
Yep.
Think about that. And also, Trump had laid off 3 million people since he's been in office, 3 million government workers. And they were complaining about the unemployment going up to 4.5%.
Right.
That's within in itself. But going from 3.5 to 5, 4.5, they made a big deal about it here about a week ago. But those 3 million people are out there looking for a job because they went and the first thing they did was apply for unemployment.
Yep.
So that had to factor in that 3.5%. You follow what I'm saying?
Yep.
And Chuck Schumer and these liars in the media is not telling the public this.
Oh no, they just tell the part of the story that makes them look good. That's it, just part of the story. Yeah.
Yes. And the 4.5%, Trump said is actually a good number because if you remember, when I grew up in
50, they had Aramco, which is a Saudi Arabian oil company.
Yep.
They had full-page ads in the McAllister news capital. And then in McAllister got about 12,000 people that had full-page ads advertising for $15,000 a year. You're paid, and it's tax-free to come and work in Saudi Arabia. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 15,000 a year, folks, for you, people that don't remember and choose not to remember, the average worker back in 1955 only made about $2,400 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, or less. Because anyway, A&P, which is a national grocery store, paid $65 a week, and you took home about $39 to $44 after taxes, and that was a family of four. That was in 1955. So if you're going to be offered $15,000 a year tax free to Rambo, they were roughnecks. Apparently, some Arabs, they're not good at manual labor. Think about it. Because manual labor, when you're a roughneck in oil, that's a dangerous job. You got to have coordination, brain and body. You know, you're always moving. Have you been on an oil rig to watch them work? Have you ever done that?
Ever done what now?
Ever been to an oil rig and watched people, the roughnecks? Have you ever watched them work?
No. I mean, I've watched documentaries or TV, but I've never actually physically been to one.
Well, Conager, I think, is a movie. I think it was. Or You Know My Name. That's the name of the movie that they made. And that deals with the Oklahoma oil rigs. So it was the FBI there. And, buddy, it's dangerous. All right. Now, anyway, I'm not going to go in my own family, but I've been around oil rigs all my life in Oklahoma. And it's dangerous. Oklahoma City Capitol was the only capital in the planet that had oil rigs like 100 feet apart. Have you never been there and seen that?
No. I mean, I've seen them on documentaries and stuff. But yeah.
The reason I'm there to go back to Oklahoma, they just turned communist. It really did. You know, the good old boys that brought communism to Oklahoma. Oh yeah, big time. Matter of fact, I was trespassed out of Oklahoma when I was 16 years old, not to ever come back or It's funny now, but that's a fact.
Oh man.
So anyway, and I was awarded the court, and they signed for me to go in the military. I mean, before they got 17, that's why I ended up in the military.
Wow, you were young.
Yeah, I was. And when I got to Fort Carson, word got out. See, that if I messed up in the Army and they had to get rid of me, there was some contact to court, and they would send a constable after me, and they started calling me convict in boot camp.
Wow.
They did. The military, they used to do that in court system. Put you in the military or you go to prison. They used to do that.
Oh, yeah. They did it for Vietnam, even.
No, they didn't do it in Vietnam. No. LBJ was in charge of that. Now, that's a whole nother book of worms. It is. LBJ was a communist from get-go. And I'm telling you, so what is going on now is nothing new. LBJ presided over the most turbulent decade since the Civil War. And think about that. Everybody got killed. JFK, Martin Luther King, Robert F. Kennedy, and the National Guard was shooting people at Kent State, shooting students, killing them. And then had hippies lower, James Bonner running around Hanoi. Oh, and the returning Vietnam veterans coming back, they got spit on. The cops didn't even like us. Didn't. It was a horrible experience of that 19 into the 60s. If you were shielded from it, it's because you ignored it. And the music now in the 60s, they called it Vietnam music, was exceptional. It was great music. There was a movie called Good Morning Vietnam. Robin Williams, he portrayed a disc jockey, Air Force disc jockey, and that's a dead-on true movie. And have you seen it?
No.
Yeah, we'll pull it up sometime and watch Good Morning Vietnam, Robin
Williams. Oh, no, I've seen that. Yes, I have seen that. He did a great job on that.
Yes, he did. I give old Robin credit for that.
Yeah.
But and he portrayed a real-life Air Force disc jockey. You know? Yeah. But it's all true. But anyway, but LBJ was a horrible person. He's the one opened the borders up in '65 with his own immigration law. He's the one that killed the 1952 McCarran-Walter Act that I talk about a lot, that I love.
Yeah.
He killed him. And had he not killed the 1952 McCarran-Walter Act, we would not have this problem we're having right now. Because they had to reach a moral character standard, and it was pointed out by the McCarran-Walter Act. They did not reach that standard, so therefore they're not eligible to be immigrated. People don't know that. Muslims, the word Muslim means civilization of Islam, exactly what it means. And the word Islam means a religion practiced in countries where it dominates. So why in the hell are we surprised?
We shouldn't be.
No. If you just go to the dictionary, any of them, and define it, look up the word Muslim, and it will tell you it means civilization of Islam.
Yeah.
It doesn't say civilization of Christians, civilization of Catholics. It's Islam. Now you go to the Quran. Then they have a guidebook called a Hadith, Hadith, something like that, called a Hadith, and that's the living standard. It's a book that kind of like the Book of Mormons.
This is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.